The Big Bark. When and where dogs first made pets. Where did dogs come from? How did they come to be pets? For more than 100 years, scientists have argued over this question. Recently, the conversation has turned into a dogfight. Scientists know that dogs come from wolves, but exactly where, when, and how are the big questions. Some experts think that our ancestors were attracted to small, furry wolf pups. They took in the wolf pups as pets. Other experts think dogs were raised as food. A hunter's best friend? Another theory says that hunters used the early dogs as helpers. This was long before people figured out how to raise goats and sheep for food. Now, the question of how dogs became man's best friend may finally be solved. A new study says that dogs came from Ice Age Europe. This was 18,800 to 32,100 years ago. That's much earlier and much farther north than scientists thought. Scientists looked closely at the DNA of 18 ancient dogs and wolves. DNA contains information that guides how living things develop and grow. The scientists then compared the ancient DNA with DNA from modern dogs and wolves. The scientists say that dogs come from an ancient European wolf. These dogs died out a long time ago. Dogs do not descend from modern-day wolves. The early wolves probably began following groups of hunters. They wanted the dead animals and scraps of meat left behind by the hunters. At first, the wolves and people probably kept the distance. The wolves were large and dangerous, said Robert Wayne. He is a scientist at the University of California. He worked on the study. After some time, wolves became part of human communities. Maybe they even helped people find animals to hunt. They also may have chased wild animals from humans, Wayne said. Bond between dogs and humans. Until recently, experts thought dogs were tamed less than 13,000 years ago. They also thought dogs were either Eastern Asia or from the Middle East. One key finding was at an archaeological dig in Israel. Archaeologists found the skeleton of a man cradling a puppy. The man lived 12,000 years ago. The special bond between dogs and humans has existed a long time. Tracing where and how wolves developed into dogs is very difficult. Ancient dog bones are hard to tell apart from wolf bones. Dogs and wolves often mated. That also complicates things. In fact, Charles Darwin believed that dogs had more than one ancestor. He thought this because there were so many different dog breeds. Darwin is considered the father of evolution. Evolution is the study of how things began and changed over time. Darwin died in 1882. Researchers now think that dogs evolved from only one ancestor. Likewise, the first dogs came from one region of the world. Studying dogs is definitely harder than studying humans, said Gregor Larson. Larson is a bioarchaeologist in Great Britain. Bioarchaeologists study animal bones found in archaeological digs. Larson said the discovery is important. It's been hard to pin down the origin of dogs. Scientists have come up with crazy ideas about where dogs came from and how, he said. People want to answer the question. Other scientists strongly believe that Wayne is wrong. Peter Silverian is one of them. He is a professor in Sweden. He thinks dogs came from China. They were probably a source of food. There are strong feelings about the issue. People make up complicated stories about where humans come from. These stories are based on just a few ancient bones, said James Serpell. He is a professor in Pennsylvania. I guess we're doing the same thing now to our dogs, he said. We view them as members of our families. We want to know where they come from and how this relationship came about.